That's right guys, we're jumping on the bandwagon and today we're doing a pile of shame video. I'll catch you after this. Hi guys, my name is Josh and welcome to the Pickle Jar. And yes, today we're going to be talking about my pile of shame. Now, while these videos usually act as a little bit of a hobby flex for whoever it is who's doing them, because apparently owning a lot of unpainted miniatures is somehow very impressive, I wanted to do something a little bit different with mine. Now, if I sound salty at all, it's really only because I have a comparatively small pile of shame compared to a lot of other people. So you might be asking, why am I bothering to do a pile of shame video if I don't really have a pile of shame? Well, partially it's to try and appease the YouTube algorithm gods in a feeble attempt to get more views, and partially it's because I think that there is something far more important to talk about here. You see, as a community, we keep calling our unpainted collections of miniatures piles of shame. Now I know that this is mainly done in jest, but I also think that it does have a weird side effect on us subconsciously, and that it can affect what should be a very, very relaxed hobby. Now this pressure can be a good thing sometimes. It can be very motivating to set yourself goals and timescales for projects, or to set yourself personal rules to try and abide by. For example, when I first started playing Warhammer 40k again at the start of 8th edition, I promised that I would never play with unpainted models again. I had sold my old Necron force of around 5,000 points and I was very disappointed to see that most of it wasn't painted and some of it wasn't even primed. When I started playing again, I vowed I would never play with unpainted models ever again, and since then, that has extended to all the miniatures games that I play. I always take pride in the models that I field for various games, and having mini deadlines to get a new unit or player painted up is great for keeping me motivated. Now I did try the whole painting what I own before buying new stuff promise, but that sadly fell by the wayside a long time ago. While it was a nice idea in principle, it was never really practical when running the channel, and I also ended up stifling my own creativity a little bit. Sometimes I was really excited to paint a new model, but I needed to get another 10 Marines done first, which then resulted in me either doing a rushed paint job that I wasn't happy with, or I just avoided doing any hobby at all. And that's where the negative side of pressure comes in. It's great while it's motivating you and pushing you to get more of your miniatures painted, but as soon as you slip or fail one of these goals, it can have a crushing effect on your hobby mojo. Now maybe it's just me, but when this happens I end up doing even less hobby, feeling annoyed at myself despite the fact that all the pressure is largely self-inflicted. Now this can happen just by looking at other people's output and seeing how much more other people are painting than yourself. I have an ever-growing pile of stuff and plenty of projects that I want to get to, so when I look at how much I've actually painted, it can be pretty demotivating. This year I have painted a grand total of 55 miniatures. Now a lot of these are just one-off models, and I've been reluctant to work on many bigger projects because I know that inevitably they will sit half done on a shelf for months on end before I eventually finish them. The bizarre peer pressure that we feel from various external sources to get as much painted as possible is very weird too. Now the sentiment behind it is a nice one, and I agree with it mostly. It is definitely nicer to play with and against fully painted armies rather than a bland horde of grey models. But when I sit back and look at how little I've painted, it can actually have the opposite effect and take away my hobby drive rather than trying to spur me on. Now it's a weird headspace to be in, but it's one that I think we've all experienced at some point in our hobby journey. Now we call them piles of shame, but do we really have to be ashamed of them? We enjoy buying models, and we do, in one way or another, work away at them, and it means that we always have something fun to paint when the mood takes us. So how do we deal with this when the pressure starts to get to us? It may not be a problem as such for everyone, but I think things like the recent, almost community-wide decision to start calling the piles of shame piles of opportunity or piles of potential instead, shows that we are, as a group, tired of the negative connotations that we give our little treasure troves of plastic, metal and resin. Now when I get a little bit bummed out, I simply look at everything that I've painted in the past. Now I'm fortunate enough to be able to have the majority of my miniature collection on display, so every now and then it's nice to just take a look through the hordes of painted models and feel happy and inspired. When I look through the models that I have here, it's fun to see the progress that I've made in terms of my painting ability, to remember particularly fun games playing with certain models, or getting inspired by pieces that I am particularly proud of. The final note that I'd like to make is that the most important thing to do is to enjoy the hobby how you want to do it. Everyone is always very quick to tell you how to do things and when to do your hobby and how often you need to paint and what brushes to use and what methods you need to master. But in the end, the only thing that matters is what you want to do. If you want to churn out tons of models every week, then go for it. If you want to paint the odd model here and there, then that's fine too. By all means, take the advice and feedback on board, but don't feel like you need to implement everything all at once. Pick and choose what you want to do and continue to grow and learn in your own way. Your hobby is just that. It's your hobby, and nothing that anyone else can say is going to change that. So enjoy doing it your own way. That's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below, and if you want to see more from me, then consider popping along to one of my weekly live streams every Wednesday at 8 PM. If you want to help support the channel, there are a number of ways you can do so. We have our affiliate and sponsor links down below in the description, or you can do what all of these amazing people did and join our membership program right here on YouTube. However you choose to support us, it's all massively appreciated, so thank you very much. That's all from me, and I'll see you next week with another video.